We are fired up. We are so excited, y'all. Okay, so our golf tournament is coming up October 16th, and we are doing it at a different place. No need to fear. I know last time it was like,
does it say October?
Bear Creek.
Yep. 16th.
Bear Creek.
Yes, at Bear Creek this year.
Yes.
And 100% of the proceeds go toward workforce development scholarships.
Yep.
So
we made $31,000 last year, thanks to y'all. And we're I'm hoping to double it, but you said probably more like 45,000 ish would be more.
Yes, unless we did two, we can get donations as well. So we're looking to at least hit about 45 to 50 this year.
Yeah.
And that way we have a good amount of money to.
And we're already getting plenty of sponsors re-signed up. So like, don't miss the opportunity. We would love to have you. And I think one piece of feedback that we got that really made me excited to tell people that didn't join last year was everyone was like so happy to be there and excited to be there. And the vendors said that they saw way more builders than they had at really any other golf tournament like in the Metroplex. And so it was just good to hear that they were noticing that people were like happy to be there. Not that you're not happy to golf on a work day, but
I think when it's a charity, it makes it so much more.
And your money's going to scholarships for students in need for trades, which we desperately need.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're working with 3 specific colleges right now, and that's Collin College, their technical campus, TSTC, and then Lincoln Tech.
Yes.
Yep, over in Fort Worth. So we're kind of plugged into the DFW Metroplex. Is what we're really trying to do is bring it in to building in our area specifically. So that's where these scholarships are going. Yes.
We are hopeful to grow, but yes, we're starting local throughout DFW first.
So it's Monday, October 16th. We will go live with registration on the 22nd of May. Right now, everybody who was a part of last year gets first dibs on what they want. So we're filling up those, and then we'll go live.
Good.
Yes, we are. It's
so
already
grateful.
It's already going. So can't wait for y'all to see that. You can look for it on our website at buildhersclub.com.
Yes.
And there's a link right over there to it. Welcome to the Build Hers Club podcast. We're here to bring you real conversations and fresh insights from a woman's perspective in the construction industry.
Each episode will sit down with incredible guests, female builders, designers, business owners, and industry leaders to talk about the challenges, successes, and experiences that shape our careers.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out or simply curious about the industry, this is your space to learn, be inspired, and connect with a community of strong, trailblazing women.
Welcome back to the Build Hers Club podcast, where women in construction come together to share stories of grit, mentorship, innovation, and opportunity. My name is Teresa Williams.
And I'm Zan. Today's episode is one we're really excited about because we're diving into mentorship, workforce development, and the future of construction with someone who has spent lots of years building relationships and helping people grow in this industry.
Joining us today is Adger Colley with FBS Appliances. Adger has built a strong reputation in construction and the appliance industry through leadership, collaboration, and supporting professionals across the building world.
We're so excited to have you. We're talking about everything from how we got started in construction to why mentorship matters, how we attract the next generation into the trades, and what men in leadership can do a little better to support us women in the industry.
Love it.
So whether you're already in construction, if you're thinking about the industry, or simply looking for leadership inspiration, this episode is for you.
All right. So let's jump in. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited you're here.
Me too.
How did you get here?
Yeah, start at the beginning.
How'd you get into construction?
Before we start, you guys both have a pillow on your lap that says "Talk dirty to me."
Talk dirt.
Oh my god.
Talk dirt.
I was like, what is going on right now? No, I'm super excited.
Construction.
Yeah, I love it.
But I'm bump.
This is dirt is what I think invigorated me as a youngster for the industry though. Like I was a kid that ran around the neighborhood and there's a job site where they're building a house and there's piles of lumber and stacks of sand.
You
And
play with Tonka trucks?
seriously, yes, all the
Love
time.
it.
Yes, me
And
too.
I like hate to admit it. Some of these guys are gonna be like, "Oh, he was that kid," but I stole lumber and brought it to the house to build.
You did not.
Builders, if your
like the
lumber's
scrap
missing.
stuff I
Yeah,
did,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I didn't know any better at the time, but like a piece here or there. But it was like seeing the guys up there working and the noise and all that as a kid, you're like, wow, this is really cool. And so I would always, we were in a big neighborhood that was being built out. And I think that's where it started. And I did like built a tree fort out back and like had little hatches and hidden places that I could put my things. And like, that was kind of what started the interest was, how do you take two pieces of lumber and put them at a 90 and make them actually stay together without bending and breaking and kind of explore it without knowing what you're doing at that age. But it was of interest, and I had family in the business. And so I had guys that would like come over for dinner, and then all of a sudden we're back there banging on wood together and cutting stuff. And it was like a natural interest that just, I always wanted to build. I always wanted to be on the contractor side, not the supply side. And I think as I got older and I knew I was going to be in the industry, it didn't matter how I was in it. It was just that I wanted to be around this. And so.
Did you do it through high school? Did you take like woodworking classes?
Shop, all that
and
stuff.
all that? Yeah.
Yep. And I mean, my parents, my family runs a private company, and I worked in the warehouse as a kid growing up, and like I rebuilt pallets, you know, like they shipped a bunch of material. And so they would break these wooden pallets, and I'm out there breaking the bad ones apart and putting the good ones back together. And so kind of like always hands-on. And
Right.
I think I'm probably still fairly handy today. Like I like to do projects around the house. My wife and I do a lot of stuff together. And
Speaking of, is your house almost done?
it is so close.
Okay.
Yes.
So what have you been doing? Because I don't know.
So I've got 4 daughters, which we're going to talk about today. I'm sure, right?
Yes.
So we moved about 2 years ago, and we bought a place in the neighborhood that we were in, like 5 doors down. And just so like evolution through the career, I've moved like 7 times. Like we've moved our family a bunch of different times.
Right.
And every one of them great. And it's been wonderful and I love it. But moving is not my thing. And I'm so over it.
Yep.
And so we get to the point with this house where we're going to do an addition or we're going to do something to get some extra space. And we decided, hey, let's not. You know, it's not the perfect spot. Let's see if we can find a spot that's better for us. And instead of it being like across town where it kind of made sense to move, it's literally like around the corner in the neighborhood.
Wow.
So we pack everything up and we go down the road. But it had space for us to put a 5th bedroom, which we wanted to have the space for the girls.
Right.
We had them sharing bedrooms and stuff like that. So my wife will probably listen and she'll glare at me. But we waited. We're right at 2 years in, and like it was a plan from the get-go to do this, and we just got busy with life. And so yeah, we got I don't know, in the last month and a half, 2 months, we really started firming up plans, and we had like a big finished attic that was just a really large space. There was a bathroom on the other side of the wall, so we're like, hey, we could add a bathroom, add a bedroom, have our space. And that turned into like, well, now we don't have a playroom, so we need that too. So there's another attic's getting finished out into a playroom, but it's just extra living space for us.
Right.
And it's what we wanted long term. So we actually have had a lot of fun with it. And they finished putting sheetrock up. Actually, they'll probably finish today, but we got sheetrock up yesterday. So we're really close.
Oh, nice.
So,
Okay.
yeah, it's very exciting. My girls are super pumped because now it's
I
like own bedroom, get away from the sisters, new closet.
How old are your girls?
So Kaylee's 14. She's the oldest.
Oh, wow. Yeah, she has to have her own space at this point.
She does. And she's upstairs by herself right now.
Oh.
But now her little sister, Katie, is 12, and she's going to get the new bedroom next to her. So the older girls are going to be up. Carly's 10 and Christy's 8, and they'll be downstairs together. So it's a good split.
How did you do every 2 years?
So the older ones are, like right on the verge of Irish twins. They're pretty close. They overlap that less than a 2-year mark every year for just a little bit. But I don't know. We knew we wanted to have children young. We wanted to have a big family. And my wife she knows what she wants. And she was like, hey,
I love it.
This is what I want.
And you weren't going to say no.
Yes,
so,
ma'am.
You know,
I don't think that I thought about it to the same degree, but sure, I knew I wanted children and didn't really know how many, didn't know how soon.
Right.
But no, we had it planned out. Oh yeah, for sure. Long time done.
Youngest is 8, right?
Oh my gosh. No, we dated in college, and she was a school teacher. And so we knew we were going to just have a young family. And we started right after we got married. And it was, every 2 years, like clockwork after that. and
Just pumping them out.
just pretty certain that I was going to have a son that was going to play on job sites and build forts in the backyard. And
You can have a girl
no.
that'll do the same thing.
They are all in their own way awesome like that, and I love having daughters. I mean, I didn't know that I would be a girl dad, and now here we are 14 years later, and it's like the greatest thing in the world.
yeah.
They are seriously the best.
I bet they
I
just
want to
adore
come back
you.
and talk to you in 5
Yep.
years when they're all in there.
So
Everybody synced together and.
I'll get it wrong, but cumulatively over the years, I think it's like 19 years that I'll have a teenager living in my house, a teenage girl for that period of time. So it's, yeah.
Hang
it's a
on.
lot. Yeah.
Hang on to your bootstraps.
But you know
I
what?
mean,
It's sad. Like one of them 4 years away, she's going to be going off to school and
So-
gone.
Yeah.
my daughter Bryn's the same age
Yep.
as your oldest. And it's like, how is it already here?
How did it happen?
I know.
I don't get it.
It's,
You're a freshman in high school. It's not cool.
I know.
But I do love it, too. It's fun to see them grow up.
Yeah.
She's a
Awesome.
sweetheart.
It must be different with boys because my older two are boys. And when I was like, okay, I'm ready for you to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. My food bill went down. I mean, it was rivaling my house
gosh.
payment, and he was just ready to go. And, having maybe two more, was a little bit different.
Yeah.
I think my daughter will be a little bit harder because she's the youngest, but part of me is like, I'm planning my life after. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's a little bit, I think, different though with boys where you're like, okay, go out and make your way. And
I think I don't know for sure because I've never had a boy or a son in the house like that, but they are just like mayhem from what I see from the outside
they're
looking
so
at. I know
They're-
I was.
They're like 10 kids
my
in one.
oh, yeah.
So do you
When they're
have like
younger.
nephews or like,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
so you like
Yep.
know.
Boys are
Oh,
harder
yeah.
younger. They just
Yeah.
eat a lot when they're older.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so do the girls. It's
They'll stop
it's a
as they
thing
get
around
older.
the house.
They don't
Yeah.
eat as much as
Yeah.
they get older.
No,
It's a whole different thing. They're bird-like.
I think there's a part of it though where like I am excited for them to move on and take that next
Right.
step. And like I'm
Right.
seeing her get older, and she's certainly a beautiful young lady, and she's very smart, and she's got things that like you just as they get a little bit older and they mature, it's like that childhood transition to young adult and maturity. Like it's unbelievable. But then I start thinking like it's so close. I don't want her to go. I want her to be here.
Right.
But I want her to go have her experience.
So how
too.
would you feel if
Yeah.
one of them wanted to get into construction?
I-
Knowing the world that we live
100%.
in right now.
Yes, and we have them around the stuff that we do. They're fairly handy at the house too. Like they like to be a part of what we're doing as far as projects. But I get them to come to events with us, and they love to come stop in the store and see me if I'm working.
Oh,
And
I love that.
so they get a little bit of exposure. But I mean, I think it's such a rewarding industry that I
Mhm.
would like for them to. And it's for me, it doesn't have to be that you're a builder or that you're a salesperson for a supplier. There's so many ways to get into
yeah.
our industry that
Yeah.
fit in different ways. I mean,
Mhm.
it's endless opportunities.
Do you
But
have
yeah,
one that's more of a tomboy than the other?
I think two of them
Two of
that
them.
are a little bit more. Yeah.
Do
and
they get along?
most of the time? It
I
seems
bet
like
it's so sweet to hear them like giggling and like when you like
it's the
walk in the
best.
house and they're like, oh, like
there's like utopia days where it's like
Yeah.
the universe aligns right. They're all
Yes.
nice to each other. They play together. They do their little dances together. And then
Aw.
the next day it's just like, you took my shirt and you did this, normal sister stuff. But no,
Right.
when it's great, it is the
Like-
most rewarding thing in the world.
I
'Cause
bet.
I just want to lay there with them and
Aw.
hug on everybody.
When I was
I
five,
love it.
I was so angry when my dad told me I was going to grow up and be a girl because I wanted to be a boy so
Oh,
bad.
that's right. Didn't you?
I was like, no, I'm going to grow up and be a boy.
It's a cool life.
And I would
I
wear
get it.
like overalls and I'd have my hammer hanging
Yeah.
out my little overall side there. And I was going to grow up and be a
Yep.
boy. And when he told me I had to grow up and be a girl, I was so ticked.
Well, I got like my 10-year-old Carly. We were hanging out with some friends over the weekend and just kind of playing in the backyard. And she picks up a football and starts ripping it around. And she's like throwing a spiral 40 yards across the backyard.
I
And
love it.
she's super athletic. So it's fun for her. My wife's like, hey, Carly could be one of those ones that's like playing on the football team. And I'm like, let's go.
Yeah,
Oh,
If
that's
she wants to do it,
awesome.
Let's
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah, I'd be nervous, those boys tackling my girl.
Oh, yeah, true.
But kicking, I could deal with that
Yep,
because there's
yep.
some girls that are the kickers
sure.
on a lot of high
Yeah.
school teams. So, yeah, that would
They're
be
the best.
She'd have to be rough and tumble to get out there with those boys, though. Oh, my gosh. So, what was your very first role?
So I went to work for Electrolux as an associate district manager. We called him an ADM. And we were we were kind of revamping like a builder channel within a big retail business. And I called on local dealers and supported some of the builders that we were working with, but we were growing really quick. And so we were, not defining roles, but expanding roles and growing into different markets. And so my first exposure was like walking into an FBS or a Reese at the time was Morrison, right? And trying to tell these people that knew everything about appliances, something about our appliances that I didn't know anything about at all myself. Right?
So what did you go to college for?
I graduated from A&M with an agricultural leadership and development degree. So
far cry from what you,
non-affiliated.
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Went into school to study construction science in 06 and 07. We went from like 140% placement rate with internships to like 60. And everybody was like, go find something else kind of deal.
Okay.
So I didn't really know what it looked like. And fortunately at A&M, the staff is great, administration's great. And so opened up different doors and opportunities. And so it was kind of like a general studies degree program. There was certainly some ag related, we had like A&M has cool classes like meat science and
Meat science.
Yeah.
What is that about?
my gosh.
Give us the lowdown on meat science.
literally like cuts of meat and quality of meat and
That's
how
awesome.
it's processed and where it comes from.
Are you
and,
kidding me?
No, and the
Did they make you watch all those, like, what was it called? The one where they actually walked you through the butcher and
Oh,
all
yeah.
of that. So you
the
you
book
got
The Jungle.
Yes.
Yep,
yes.
that was assigned reading. That's a great book, by the way.
Yes.
This is
but
the only
It makes you not
school
want to
that
eat
does-
meat after that.
Seriously, it was kind of a dirty world back
Yeah.
then. But
Yeah.
But it is cool. Like now it's a very professional and I'm sure it's gotten even cooler than that. I enjoyed the class because they brought in barbecue for your lab days. And so part of it was like getting
you gotta
to
eat. Mhm.
experiment with
Right.
the food, which was wonderful too. But I took a class where the lab, we tied fly fishing lures. It was an entomology class. It was awesome. Learned a ton. But the lab was replicating bugs into a fishing lure. And I fly fished. So it was the
Oh,
perfect
that was
fit.
perfect.
That
I
is
loved it. Yep.
hilarious.
Aquatic entomology for anglers.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Trisha would love that.
When I say general
yeah.
studies, like you got to do a little bit of everything, but business school, accounting, finance, a little bit of touch on
Right.
everything. And so, at 18, 19, 20 years old, my plan was to move down to Houston, close to some family. I was going to work for a general contractor, learn the business. And then, I was smart and competent. I was going to go start my own business and be a big general contractor of some sort or build houses. I didn't even know at the time.
Right.
But no, it wasn't the path that I went down, and I just knew I got to get back to this industry in some form or fashion. So,
Started with Electrolux.
Electrolux, yep. And so I met an individual that I worked with for a bunch of years. In fact, I think it was kind of happenstance meeting. I met at a hotel at the airport and interviewed, and he happened to be coming through, and we kind of sat down like this and talked. And within, 10 or 15 minutes, I said, man, whatever the role is, I'm in. I want to come work for you. It was that kind of an influence. He just, the vibe, the energy, the way that he talked about the passion for the business. I was like, I want some of that. And so I jumped on and started right here in Dallas. And at the time, before the Korean and Chinese manufacturers really came into the U.S. market, it was kind of like Whirlpool and LG. Whirlpool and GE owned the appliance business, and the builders, that's all you used. And so we were kind of breaking in as this new entity into the builder space. And it started with dealers getting its presence in a showroom and an extended sales force. And then eventually, we sold appliances directly to the largest national home builders across the country. And so I got to kind of grow up through the evolution. So I came in, training people that knew more about it than I did and trying to tell them why they should sell ours instead of somebody else's. But learned a lot doing it and really got to be a part of seeing how we built some infrastructure and put the resources behind serving the channel more so than a retailer would have done, where we were selling a Lowe's and a Home Depot and those kind of guys. And so
Nice.
it was interesting. We were able to build from scratch, and I got to just kind of be, behind the curtains on a little bit of that stuff and help roll out some of the new initiatives. And
What year was this?
I came in 2012.
Okay.
So I just had my first daughter,
Okay.
and we were literally in the process of buying a house. And I think at the time I knew I wanted something stable that I could learn, kind of start my career and foundation. And honestly, I was looking at like tool companies, like Power Tools, and Stanley Black & Decker was out here. And I don't know, there was just some interest there because I liked working with my hands. And I think I had a really good interview prior to that. And I walked into this one after talking to my wife on the phone, she's like, "Hey, you already scheduled it. You need to go, right?" And of course, I was going to follow up and go. And I walked out and I called her and I'm like, "Hey, I'm going. If this guy makes me the offer, I'm in 100%." And thank goodness they did, because that started a really fun career in the supply side that I never would have probably chased down if I hadn't known any better.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love
So
that.
And so
it was
how
a
long
lot
have
of
you been
fun.
in the industry now?
In this role?
Mm-hmm.
So 2 years. And it's kind of a full circle back to appliances. FBS doesn't do plumbing or lighting or hardware or anything like that. But we know that appliances are difficult to get in the home undamaged and on time and installed
Right.
correctly. And you're at the end of the cycle. So yeah, it's kind of a fun setup. We've got our leadership team's made up of 5 folks that came from the manufacturing side. We know the business pretty well. We know what's needed in that final mile piece to get it to the home builder. And so we've put a lot of thought and effort and process into trying to figure out how can we do this to take the pain that exists in this piece of the business out. And we're, far from perfect, but I think we've done a lot to try to improve it. And so coming in on the manufacturing side, understanding the product, how it's made and how we get it to market was really neat. But being on the dealer side, where now I've got access to 65 plus brands, if we so desire to sell them, gives you a plethora of options. And we are literally that final mile piece, right? The boxes show up in our warehouse and they go on our trucks out to the job site. So it's a different part of it.
And
but,
most for builders, you have to order all your appliances up front, right? Because they build it to the specs of the appliances.
Right. Yeah. The production guys, it's a little bit
different.
more, your specs kind of standard. And so they don't make a lot of changes. Generally, they're tied to like a brand and a long-term agreement of some sort.
Okay.
But that also allows us to where, let's hope we never run into a supply chain issue like we did with COVID again. But if something's not available, you can plug and play a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's where the strength in dealing with a local dealer distributor is that we've got some flexibility to work with different brands and kind of help plug gaps if there's one that's there.
Yeah,
so.
65 different brands. That's a lot.
That is.
Compared to the 2 that you started with.
More.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure. But the ones that you chose to rep.
Yep. And it's cool. I think having helped build what was also a pretty strong foundation at Electrolux and Frigidaire in the market here, we grew share pretty significantly in DFW, Texas, and then nationwide. Now it's a big part of our business too. And so some of those big legacy brands are still there. But
are any of them 100% made in America, or is pretty much everything pieced together?
Gosh, somebody's going to get mad at me if they watch this later.
No, I'm just curious because anything in the, from TVs to speakers to batteries to appliance, everything, even if they say made in America, it's assembled here.
Because the number of components that go into it, no.
Okay.
A couple of them do a very good job of assembling in the United States, right? So you have American-made products, but you're bringing in pumps and compressors and,
even the iPhone isn't made here.
Absolutely.
So, that's why I'm just kind of curious.
I think what's interesting though is a lot of finished product that's imported. And so with all the regulatory changes that we're going through right now, there's certainly a cost pressure and there's a lead time pressure, but there's also this just uncertainty that, hey, we've been through some really tough years in this market, in this industry, where stuff was hard to get our hands on. Now there's this incredible cost associated with it as well. The guys that do a lot of it here, they control their supply chain. And so Whirlpool's one that really does have a lot of marketing excitement behind Made in America because they have so much domestic manufacturing. And even though they're bringing in those parts and pieces, they're in stock, they're bringing them in early, they're bringing those products off the line in the United States ready to go. And so that does mean something for us as a distributor too, because there's some stability, there's some security there, but for the home builder as well, they want to know that when they need it, they're going to be able to get it, especially when the market's cranking like it was in 2022.
Oh gosh, I remember refrigerators weren't coming in and you were moved in and you didn't have a refrigerator, or they would have to put in just a loaner.
Anything, just to get the house closed.
To close the house, and then your fridge would come in 6 months later.
Yeah.
So it's funny, at the time I was working for James Hardie Building Products, and so nothing to do with appliances at all. And 1 in 3 conversations that I had with big national home builders, appliances came up. Like, hey, Adger, do you still know anybody that is in this market? We're looking for, ranges over here. It was crazy. Like they were buying from Lowe's and Home Depot and stocking them in, storage units and stuff like that. that was a product line that really ran into some major,
Yes, I heard
major
about that.
challenges.
Yep. When it comes to luxury outdoor living, the difference is in the system behind the screen. That's why builders and homeowners across the U.S. trust Universal Screens, an industry leader known for innovation, performance, and beautifully engineered motorized screen systems. From expansive patio openings to custom outdoor living spaces, Universal's motion screens are designed to deliver smooth operation, durability, and seamless integration into the home's architecture. With advanced zipper track technology, clean lines, and high-performance screen materials, these systems help create comfortable spaces without sacrificing the view. Whether you're blocking the harsh afternoon sun, keeping bugs out during summer nights, or creating privacy at the touch of a button, Universal's motion screens help transform patios into the true extensions of the home. And for homeowners and builders across the U.S., installation and service are proudly provided through authorized dealers like KJ Custom Screens and Outdoor Living, bringing expert craftsmanship and luxury outdoor living experience to every project. Universal Screens, designed for the way you really want to live outdoors.
I have like so many questions, but I need to know who your mentors were along the way and how did they shape your path?
Yeah, I think that first individual that I came into the business with, Johnny Cope, which is kind of cool. Probably two of the biggest influencing mentors that I had are now back in Dallas. They work for
nice.
Builders First Source,
Okay.
leading that business, and it's cool to see where people have gone from 2012 and 15 and beyond up to where they are today. But Johnny's kind of like an icon in this business, I think you would say. Like he's been around, he's worked with home builders for years, but he's just got an energy and a passion for this business that's unlike any other. And I was blown away in that first interview by what I saw. And then I got to work alongside it for years and learn from him. And it never faded. I mean, that is him every day when he wakes up and gets out of bed until he finishes a late dinner with a customer or something like that.
That's this chick right here.
Oh, totally. You know what? And there's so much similarity there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think we got along so much from the get-go. But, he was, I think maybe he just needed somebody, or maybe he saw something in me. I don't know what it was. But giving me the opportunity to come in, we worked closely together on and off over the years. And later in my career, we spent a lot of time together working on big opportunities and traveling all over the country, which was a lot of fun. But he told me something early on that didn't really resonate at the time. And I tell people this all the time now. And that is that if you spend your time in this industry, if you build a network and do things the way that you're supposed to, if you follow up on what you say you're going to do, if you do what you're supposed to do, you build a trust and you build a reputation that you're one of those folks that I can rely on, right? There's an accountability measure.
It's relationship building. The whole
100%.
industry is relationship
That's
building.
it.
We tell this to all these new
Yes.
girls coming in and guys coming in, that you have to have a personality,
Yep.
be able to talk to people and build those relationships.
Yep.
It's not on the phone. It's not an email. It's a face-to-face.
And
That's
it
right.
takes time.
It does.
You want to do it
100%.
overnight, but it's not possible.
No.
Well, he tells me, and he used to say it frequently, which was that if you do this, you'll never want for a job, right? I mean, the industry will eventually start to give back. And it's true. And it's not that it's not throwing money at you, but the door's open, the opportunities are there. The network you build can bring opportunities in many different ways, not just new business or a new person to hire or anything like that, but this thing's always changing and evolving. And so it opens up doors that just didn't previously exist. And I think at the time I was just sitting there like, this guy's just telling me what you want to hear when you're young. and coming into the world of business.
Sounds good.
But he's dead on. He's absolutely right. And now I say the same thing to young people that I work with, and not even young people, just people that are new to the industry.
Right.
And it's that, hey, I want a fresh start and I want to come over here. Why is construction good? What makes you want to work in this business? And that's it. It is tremendously rewarding if you're willing to put in the time.
Well, and you're one of the youngest people in this industry because the average age is 45.
Yep.
So like, I mean, the fact that you started this as young as you did as well.
There's still a long ways to go, but I do think that working with mentors like that, being around people like that
100%.
expands that opportunity early, right? You get to sort of piggyback that network, and not to say that I'm anywhere close to that, but I was brought into conversations, meetings, and introduced to people that it helped me understand earlier. And so I was invested in it. Then as I saw it start to take root, I thought, man, this is real. It's like a force multiplier. There's some substance to this. And so I guess I went all in on it as well. And the best salespeople that I know around this industry, that's what they've done as well. So, yeah.
That's a really good description.
What do you think are some like misconceptions about being in construction
Yeah.
or the trades in general?
It's, a lot of people think that it's still this good old boy network that you can't break into. And that's what I hear all the time is that like, Joe buys from John because he likes John and he's never going to buy from anybody else. We'll never get that deal. And then a few years later, you get that deal. There's always things that come up. It could be changing ownership, company, service level, whatever it is. But a lot of people think it's like this lockdown industry that you can't gain traction in without knowing somebody. And that network certainly does matter, but you build that network through hard work and time. And so it's probably more, it's not globalized, but it's open to new ideas, advancements, innovation, different ways of doing things than it used to be because the global market is real. And so now you've got these multinational companies that are building products and these home builders that are, buying companies from Japan that are operating in the United States. Now there's new ideas. It's a very, very different industry than it was even when I started, certainly than it was in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. But a lot of people just feel like, construction's kind of a dirty, it's mom and pop. I can't really break into that. And I do think they're wrong. I think if you step in and you bring value to this business, you will find opportunity. Mm-hmm. And if you show up every day and do what you're supposed to do and you do it the right way, you will grow your business. That's the truth.
I 100% agree with you.
Yep.
It takes time.
It does.
You're not going to make your $1 million right away.
Yep.
You've got to really, you've got to take your time and build it. Yep.
I do think it's one where you have to maintain it too. This isn't, and I don't know much about like the software world because I don't do that, but you develop something that works, you sell it and you get subscriptions and you get recurring revenue and life is good. Here, if you falter, you lose, right? You got to be there every day. You got to be diligent about what you do. The execution matters just as much or more than the networking does. And that's where a lot of folks, I don't care what your background is. If you want to get into this industry, but you've got the passion to do it the right way and you show up and do what you say you're going to do, that's execution. Yep. And that's where you're going to find success.
And you take care of the problems as they come in.
Yep.
It isn't going to be a perfect delivery every time.
Yep. So it's funny when you asked about mentors and another gentleman that I worked with, and he's a super guy. He works in the industry kind of on the fringe now. He moved to another state in Nebraska, but he's doing very well for himself. And the first couple of days that I worked with him, he said, man, this is an easy job. You just got to answer your phone, answer your emails, show up to the meetings, and that's about it. Like, what? There's got to be more to it than that, right? Like you got to be an expert of something. And sure, it was simplified, but it is true. And we've all had those days where, that one superintendent that's always kind of in a bad mood is calling you and he's mad and you don't want to pick up the phone, but you've got to.
Yep.
And you've got to find a solution for the guy.
Yep.
And so those simple fundamentals of pick up the phone, answer the email, even if you don't have the answer, it's, hey, I'll get back to you once I find out.
Right.
And I think the early part of my career, I said that a lot. And then, I'd call the product guy and I'm like, hey, what do you know about this? And it's just being available and it's being there when they need you because it is a network driven business, but they rely on us as suppliers. The home builder does just as much as their buyers relying on them to build them a house. Exactly. So we've got to be the expert in our field to help move the ball down the line.
I always liken it to the builder as the conductor and we're all the pieces of the orchestra. Yep. And we have to have all of those instruments, all of the pieces together working in harmony to make it,
that's right,
to build the house.
I think I remind my guys a lot is that, on a given project, it could be 400 tradesmen that are walking on and off that job site. Yep. So we're one of a million and they're trying to get everybody rowing in the same direction. It's hard enough with, your sales team or your team locally.
Right.
And you think about those guys and they're all relying on different times and the schedules. I mean, it's a real challenge.
So you can, in knowing that, I do understand sometimes when your builder calls up and they're like, no, but I need this today.
Yes.
I need this tomorrow, right? Like
you
actually needed it yesterday. Yep. Or the house isn't closing because I'm the end of the
same here,
as well. So for you have to be there to close.
That's right.
For me, I can go in after, but it's just they, I try to understand from their side too. When you have that builder that's a little bit crankier than normal.
So the CO requires appliances in most cities and states,
right?
And certainly in Texas. And so that was a mindset from the jump. When I got into this business, it hasn't changed. We will move heaven and earth to make sure that you can close your home.
Right.
And when times are busy and fun, it's even more important, right? Because that unit cycle time is really, really important to the home builder. And so we will do whatever it takes, even at the expense of our business sometimes, to make that happen. But it's important.
Well, and that's your relationship building.
Yeah, sure.
That's what keeps them coming back.
Taking care of your people like you would want to be taken care of.
It's hard. It's hard when you've missed the mark and you've got to have that conversation. Because you can't be perfect, and it's going to happen at times.
It's painful, though.
The hardest conversation to have. And doesn't matter that you did it right 99 times before that. Right?
It's so true.
But it's fair, right? That one mattered just as much as the other ones did. And so I sympathize with it. I think where I'm at in my career now, time in the business, I understand it more than I did when I was kind of getting introduced to it.
Right.
Because I wondered, why is it always so urgent? Why is it always so hot?
Right.
But I didn't know any better at the time. And now I do. So that's a good lesson for people that are coming into this business, is you got to take that seriously.
Yes,
for sure. What were some pivotal moments or turning points in your career?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know if it's moments as much as people.
Yeah.
And those people created moments. Like Johnny. Yeah. I mean, it was that opportunity to join forces with somebody to learn from a mentor changed my pathway completely.
Yeah.
And over the years, getting bigger opportunities, hey, I got an opportunity, or I want you to come and do this. I mean, I moved my family from Dallas to Charlotte.
Yeah.
So, we lived in South Carolina, just south of the border of North and South Carolina. But we officed in Charlotte. Yeah, that was a big pivotal moment because we had a young family. We weren't really sure about making a move, but I was probably bleeding blue, whatever we would say at Electrolux. I was all in, and we were really doing something cool. And so I wanted to go be a part of what the next phase of that growth looked like. And it was a fun time. We had just built the scale to be able to serve big builders nationally. Excuse me. But it was a big change for us. It was an uprooting. It was kind of a relocation that we didn't know what was going to be on the other side of it. And it's an
adventure.
It was, and it opened more doors down the road as well. So.
And how long were you there?
Just a little over a year. It was interesting because I got there about 8 or 9 months probably after I had taken that opportunity. The former CEO of Electrolux had been working for James Hardie in the European market and came back to North America to take over as the global CEO. And when he did, he came and asked Johnny to join the organization to run the sales team.
Oh, wow.
So I'm there, and my family's in town, and we're all excited, and Johnny's leaving. And at the time, I mean, I think I was devastated to an extent, but I was happy for him to take the opportunity. And really and truthfully, it was cool for me because I got to take a little bit more ownership of what I was doing for Electrolux at the time. And I did know the business by that point. I'd been really close to it. And shortly after he took his opportunity, he came back and asked if I was interested in making that change. So you talk about pivotal moments. One was taking the family out there to do that, and then making the decision that, hey, we're invested in this, and now maybe this next opportunity is the right one. And those are hard decisions to make because longevity and loyalty and all that stuff matters to me too. I look at it from a resume perspective with people, but I think at the time I believed that I was working for a guy that understood this business and a guy that knew how this thing worked. And so if it meant we're going to go try this in exterior, lumber products, let's go do it. And what a learning experience. I mean, to get to kind of change the whole entire shuffle of the deck of cards. But fortunate to have been able to do it still.
That's cool. You had some really cool experiences.
That was fun.
Well, and you've always, it sounds like, stayed in the industry. I mean, James Hardie is in the industry. Like, you never really left building in general.
That's right.
I think that's what, kind of going into workforce development, because we're doing some workforce development with the podcast, and we do we raise money every year with our golf tournament, and then we give them for scholarships. And we're focusing on the DFW area, specifically in the trades that require licensing, which is your HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. For everyone coming in, 5 are leaving.
It's true.
So in saying that, what would you recommend for a kid, especially your daughter? I mean, when you think about it, there's 11% women in this industry, right? And it's even less in residential versus commercial. So if your daughter wanted to come in and say, hey, Dad, I want to go be a welder. Or, I mean, what would you tell her about this industry on a trade perspective on that?
Oh, I love that you're bringing this up because I don't know. I'm passionate about this because when I came in and we go to all these functions and these conferences around town, and we always talk about lot supply and labor availability. And that's kind of transition. And it's always been a challenge since I came in 2012. We've never had enough labor to support the business. And we're kind of in a slow time right now. And it's still a challenge. But this silver tsunami is real. And these guys are retiring at a rate that is completely unheard of. And there is not an excited youth movement coming into the trades.
Not at all.
My daughters, I would 100% back and help and fund the opportunity for them to get involved in a skilled trade. Because when you asked about the perception of construction, it's even worse for skilled labor, because I think the idea of, the guy on the ground with his crack hanging out as a plumber.
So true.
Plumber crack is
So
real.
That is the perception, right?
It is.
But you know what? There's a lot of plumbers in the DFW Metroplex right now that are 35, 45 years old and run their own business, and they are making a heck of a living, and they control the industry because they're one of a few. And their biggest competitors are guys that have run a business for 30, 40 years, and they're ready to hang it up and walk away.
That's right.
But there's no middle ground there, right? The age gap is tremendous. The amount of labor that we need is not being refilled at the rate that we need for it to. So I'm not going to say that one of my daughters wants to go be a plumber or a welder right now, but if they thought that that was a good opportunity, I would be behind it 100%. Because also the time put into learning the trade, and there's so many opportunities, and I know what y'all are doing with the colleges and trade schools. It's wonderful. But if you're willing to put in a few good years, earn that master license, and learn how to run a business, you can get off the truck. You don't have to be in the field every day. And a lot of those guys like to do it. I think that's wonderful. But you can run a really successful business without even having to be bending over under the sink with your crack hanging out.
Right, exactly.
Well, and construction,
so
new construction is a lot different than your day-to-day plumber, right? You're just out there laying the pipe and the foundation. When you're new construction, it's not as serious, dirty work as it is if you're the day-to-day plumber. So you lay your foundation there, get your master's, and then you're running that.
So here's what's interesting too. And I think a lot of people, plumbers particularly, you think about like cleaning out nasty clogged toilets. It's a dirty job.
Yes.
And I shout out to Mike Rowe because I love dirty jobs. And what that guy has done for this industry is absolutely unbelievable. But there's a ton of interest from private equity and a lot of private money trying to get into the trades because they see this need for it, right? I mean, smart money knows this is something that we're going to need for years to come.
That's right.
But they're not interested in new construction. They're interested in the high margin retail, come and fix your clogged drain business. And so it makes even more of there's kind of a vacuum for the new construction skilled trades because plumbing, HVAC, and electrical, I don't know the numbers. You probably do better than I do, but I think you got to be 4 or 5 years in to get licensed fully. And you've got to have that time as an apprentice you can't just buy the license. You can't just study the book.
HVAC, I think, is 5 years. You can own your own business with electrical and plumbing once you're a master.
Okay.
So 8,000 hours.
Yeah. Yep. 8,000 hours is what it takes to become. And I guess it's longer for the journeyman. And then it's like 2,000 to get your master's. And you take the testing and all of that. But then you have other people working under your license.
Sure.
So, and they pay you for that. Like that's a huge thing as well.
Absolutely. There's
so much. I always said, it's funny because every builder's always joke too. He's like, the richest person in the room is always a plumber.
Yeah.
Always a plumber.
Yep.
And they are the most humble.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Right? It's just.
But you're earning a higher wage all the way through that journey, right? You're spending time learning the craft. You're becoming an expert at what you do. And the coolest thing is, and I think if I was 20 years old, I'd have had a hard time understanding it too. But you're becoming the expert in a field that doesn't have a lot of experts anymore.
That's right.
You will control your own destiny. But it's probably partially the generation, maybe, the boomer generation or us coming in behind them, Gen X and Z, and certainly millennials, is you wanted the college degree. That was your fast start to having a successful career and making money. Unfortunately, that's transitioned to a tremendous amount of student debt and a burden that's really difficult to climb your way out from under.
And half of these jobs don't even exist for these degrees.
That's right. I mean, can you imagine right now, if I'd have gone to school and studied programming and coding and I'm not good at that stuff, so it never would have worked, but I'd hate to have done that and spent 4 years becoming an expert in a field that's quickly becoming obsolete.
Yep.
Yeah. It's kind of scary. I can
Yeah.
tell you there's going to be a need for plumbers and
Oh, yeah.
electricians for many years to
Oh,
come.
yeah. AI is not
Yep.
taking over
That's right.
the trades.
Yep.
For sure. So, I love this conversation.
I know. I get so fired up.
Well, and then, you can even translate that into, you went to Texas A&M. It was not a cheap school to go to,
Yep.
correct? Collin College has a 4-year
Absolutely.
program
Yep.
for $15,000.
That's right. Yep.
That's like one semester
I mean,
at Texas A&M,
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, and they have 100% placement in their construction management program.
if more folks could tell the story about what they're doing today, the success stories, I think it would help translate a little bit more. A younger generation saying, hey, look, here's where I started. Here's what I'm doing today. I think you could get folks to buy into it a little bit more. But that's kind of like talking about those former generations is it's just there's a stigma, there's a stereotype, there's a lack of understanding of what you're asking people to do.
And a lack of these kids seeing somebody closer to their age of, okay, I can get there.
Yep.
Right. And that's one of the reasons why we're having this talk right now. And I mentioned earlier, because a lot of we have listeners versus, people who watch it. You're very young. You've been in this industry. You didn't start out coming in construction management.
Yep.
You went into the sales side.
Yep.
And you've made a very great living, on that aspect. There are so many sides
Sure.
to construction that if you aren't a person who wants to dig around in the dirt, you don't have to be.
Yep.
There's just so many different places that you can be.
I tell some of these guys that are studying finance and money at school right now too, that plumber, he needs somebody to come help him run those books, and he's probably going to pay you pretty well to do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's just so many places where you could do it. It's unbelievable.
Yes.
We've got an in-house installation crew at our business, and these guys are the best in the business. They're wonderful. And Orvin's our lead installer, and he travels all over the state for us and trains and builds a program. But he's developed essentially an apprenticeship program for installers with us where, the licensing requirements are certainly not the same level as they are for those high mechanical trades, but it does require some time in the field to be able to do this at the level that we want somebody to.
Right.
And there's opportunities beyond our business to go start your own business, run your own business. And if you learn how to do it right, the demand is there.
Right.
And so he's done a great job of creating kind of a curriculum and a pathway where you can come in, and a guy that's never touched a box of appliances ever can walk in, get on a truck with us. And within a couple of years, we're paying him to go down to take the state exam with the TDLR to become a licensed installer. And what's next for him? Hopefully it's with us, but we're not requiring them to stick around.
That's awesome.
That's not an endorsement for them to leave us and go start.
Well, we have time for one more question, Xanica.
I have two. I'll make it quick.
I'll be short.
Okay. So I am super fired up about what your future looks like in our industry in the next 5-10 years, or what you think it might look like. And then also, what does being a mentor mean to you, and why is it important in today's workforce?
So those can be combined. I think that's a great series of questions. So I'm not going anywhere. I love this industry. I love being a part of leadership team at a company and helping drive our business. It's been challenging during the market that we're facing right now. But it'll come back. It's a cyclical business, and the future is certainly bright. And if you drive around and you see the number of developments and dirt that's being moved, we know it's coming back, and it's coming back quick. So I'm going to be here for that ride. I would not go anywhere else. And the mentorship side it's more important than ever. And it may just be perception. I felt like when I came into this business, I quickly I was engulfed in a team that had a passion for this, that met what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be a part of. So it was an easy segue into the construction field. I want to provide that for others. I want people to want to be a part of our team, our organization in this industry, and not to lock them down, but because it's needed. We just like skilled labor and skilled trades, quality employees, quality individuals are hard to find right now.
Very much.
And I'm not exactly sure why. I'm sure that they're out there, and I'm not super tech savvy, so maybe I don't find them in the right places. But finding people that are passionate about just building relationships, building a book of business, servicing their customers like they're their friends, and wanting to be a part of this. I'm not asking anybody to work till midnight and work weekends when they don't need to.
Right.
But when you're there and you're invested and you do it the right way, you can be an unbelievable business person in this industry. And I don't even want to say just salesperson, because I don't care what part of the company or your company you're in, doing what you're supposed to do and doing it really well, it's needed right now.
Right.
And
100%.
our industry is changing from, paper and sticks and bricks to highly technological. There is a need for AI integration and software and all this innovation that's taking place that's also going to improve the workflow of a distributor, how we move product through our stores.
Right.
And so, I mean, I came in sales. I'm passionate about sales. I love working with people. So I think a lot of my mentorship is driven towards how do I get other people to feel that same burning flame and want to be a part of it. But I do. And I want them to be a part of that. And I want them to see what the future holds if they do it for real.
Right.
If they buy in and they invest, what the future could look like. So yeah, I try to, as much as I can, help them see that. And I realize now that I'm kind of like the crockety old man that's like, hey, if you do this, this is what's coming. But it's true.
But you've lived it.
Yep.
I'm
You've lived
literally
it.
getting
Experience.
teary-eyed because I just like your passion and your energy is just, it's contagious and it's just, it's needed. Like,
Yes, I love it.
100%.
Yeah.
It's
And
good stuff.
thank you for doing
place
what
is
you
fun.
do.
Yes. Thank you for being here today and sharing your experience
Yes.
and
I'm so glad to be here.
and your perspective and
Yeah.
passion.
Oh
Like,
yeah. It's,
Well, y'all
lot of
have it. That's why
passion.
you're doing what you do.
you put a little like skipping my step again. Like I've been having a little
Yeah.
like funk time, but
Yeah.
you've got me all like fired up again. Yeah.
Yes.
So just like the cycles of this industry, and I talk about this all the time, but it's that way in our work too, right? You got those weeks where everything just goes right and things are great and you're coasting, and you got the ones where you seem to get knocked back down every day.
Right.
And it's tough. I will say the bumps and bruises of this industry are real. But if you're willing to see them through, if you're willing to stay the course, the reward on the other side of it is tremendous. You become a stronger person, a more knowledgeable person. You're now ready to face that the next time it comes around.
And you make
so those
the
are tough
best
ones.
friends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
you
have
bet.
great people in this industry.
Well, we couldn't do
love-
those tough times without them.
No,
right? That's what's so
right.
important.
Absolutely.
So true.
Yeah.
Well, to everyone listening, if you enjoyed today's episode, please follow us on YouTube and subscribe, share this episode with someone in the industry, and follow us for more conversations on empowerment and elevating women in construction. Xanica, take us away with a quote.
The future of construction won't just be built by the hands willing to work. It will be shaped by the leaders willing to mentor, open doors, and believe in the next generation before they believe in themselves.
That is an awesome quote.
That is an awesome quote.
Thank you so much for being
Thank
here. I feel like
you.
we could have sat here for another 10
I
hours.
know,
Yeah, it went by
right?
super
I know.
quick.
I told you to go by quick.
Seriously.
Thank you guys
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you. Love you. Bye.
Build Hers Club is a production by Monarch Media Hub.
Recorded and edited by MZ Studios and executive produced by the amazing Abigail Thompson.
Hosted by me, Teresa Williams.
And me, Xanica Scusa. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, message us on Instagram at Build Hers Club.
Or email us at hello@monarchmediahub.com. That's HELLO@monarchmediahub.com.
And as always, when commenting, please use grace. We're here to build each other up.